Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Listen, this is He Spoke Fashion, and I am your host, Daylon Thomas. And boy, have we got a show for you. So thank you for joining again. I want to give a special greeting tonight to my beautiful butterflies and fly guys. Thank you for joining us. Again, I have an interesting topic I want to discuss tonight, so let's get right down to it without pause, all right? So guys, I'm sure that everyone has heard about the breakup between Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan. I'm also certain that many of you have also taken the opportunity to voice your opinion. I'm sure you opine the reason why you were Team Michael or Team Lori. And whatever your decision, I want you to place it in the chat so that we can have further dialogue about it in the future. But while that may be important to some, to those that are here in our community on this platform, what's important to us is fashion. That's right. So we look at the value, the fashion value that we can glean from this topic. Here at He Spoke Fashion, it is always our intent to take these types of events and figure what value, if any, these stories have in terms of fashion. Of course, it helps when the culprits are fashionable. And in this case, there is fashion galore. Just in case you didn't know, your fashion quotient is the way you do something such as dress, behave, or how are you fashioned, how are you made. And then it is divided by the confidence you display while doing it. That is your fashion quotient. So while everyone else has completely exhausted the discussion on who won or who was right or wrong, I want to better spend our time tonight concerning this topic. Lori Harvey's fashion proves that it gives her more options with high-value men. Now, I know that's not for everyone. I know everyone doesn't want a high-value man or a high-value woman. But for those who do, we got a show for you. So Lori Harvey has made quite a name for herself, and whether you think that's good or bad, that's not the discussion for the topic, for our discussion. But what we can say is that Lori has carved out a name that is synonymous with being beautiful, fashionable, and simply one who doesn't seem to ever have to worry about dating. She has become rather popular in, I would say, the last few years because of whom she's dated and how she looked when she's seen with those who she chooses to date. And now, while some of us are hating on Lori for her dating prowess, some of you are hating, let's keep in mind that she is simply a 25-year-old young woman who I believe should exercise every opportunity to date instead of making the mistakes like so many of you and settling down simply because you hear your biological clock ticking. That's right. Some of you are still wasting time with your baby daddy after 10 years, and he still won't marry you. So listen, don't judge Lori for recognizing what she did not want and deciding to discontinue the relationship thereafter. Instead of continuing to waste time with the relationship heading nowhere, like many of you are doing. So from what we know about Lori is that she is the daughter of Marjorie and the stepdaughter of Steve Harvey. This couple is one of my favorites in terms of fashion. What about you? There's literally never a time that I've seen them photographed that I didn't compliment them on their sense of style and fashion. She matches his fly, and he does the same for hers. This is, in my opinion, is how it should be when it comes to couples. You should find someone who matches your fly. Now, listen, I hear some of you saying already, aesthetics aren't everything, and I would agree with you. But being equally yoked could include this area of how much keeping the exterior looking good is to you. Although it is believed to be the second marriage, I believe, for Steve Harvey, I hope this is one that lasts forever. Now, I don't have a part to play in this relationship, but I want it to be forever simply because they look so great together. Now, let me ask you, do you have couples that you think look great together in terms of their overall appearance? Shout them out for me in the comments section. For me, it was none other when I was a bit younger growing up than David and Deborah Purcell. Oh, they were a fabulous couple. I wanted to dress like David, and I wanted a wife that dressed and looked like Deborah Purcell. What a wonderful couple. But then today, it is a much older couple, and I think they have always done an amazing job complimenting each other. That is none other than Bishop Claude Campbell and Mother Desi Campbell. Listen, you guys should look them up because they are not only a good example of marriage, but a great example of matching each other's fly. Listen, they've been doing it for a long time. I think about 60 plus years of marriage. But growing up in the Harvey household, I'm certain Lori had plenty of opportunities to hone in her sense of fashion while using Big Daddy Steve's money to do so. Yes, those were the days when you could count on mom and dad to sponsor your fashion choices. When you have parents that are really into fashion, however, it really makes it easier for you to blossom as a fashionista as well as a fly guy. Having understanding parents is always a blessing when it comes to fashion because explaining to some why you must have that pair of jeans and that belt, those shoes, and even that bag could be a problem with those who are lacking a true appreciation for fashion. It is obvious that neither Steve or Marjorie have that problem. From the onset, it looks like Lori emerged from great stock, which is obvious to tell from her beautiful mother. Woo-wee! As my Uncle Pre would say, she's foxy. I'm telling you, she's foxy. Shout out to Uncle Pre.
Oh my God!
Seldom do you see a woman represent fashion like Marjorie Harvey. I would go on record as saying that Marjorie Harvey is one of the best dressed women of our time. What? I see no lies. Who wants to challenge me on this? Go ahead. Go ahead, put yours in the comment. I'll wait. Okay, crickets. But what I adore about Marjorie's fashion is that she is not afraid to take a risk with what she wears, and she is true to herself while doing so. As I have often said, fashion takes risk, and those who dare will reap the rewards of having done so. Oh, wow, look at these two beauties. Has there ever been a mother-daughter duo like this? I guess perhaps Tina and Beyonce could be in the running, but I think Marjorie might just edge out Tina. And I will, of course, remain silent about Beyonce versus Lori because I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke from the Bay Hive. You know, I don't want to rumble with the bee, huh? No, I don't. But what I like about this duo is they seem to like each other. And we can tell by the way Marjorie kind of sneak disses Michael B. Jordan that she really loves her daughter. And who wouldn't love a beauty like that? Listen, Marjorie is not to be played with. You hear me? She is not only a beautiful woman, a phenomenally beautiful woman, but is exquisitely fashionable, all while not looking her age at all. This dynamic duo slays everywhere they go, from a night on the town to a day out having a bit of retail therapy. You can tell that fashion is in Lori's blood. You could say she gets it from her mama. Who do you inherit your sense of style and fashion from? Is it your mom or your dad or both? For me, it was my mom, but I can also say that my father appreciates fashion as well, but just not as much as my mother did. But just a little footnote for my fly guys here, listen close. If you want to know what a young lady will look like when she's older, observe what her mother looks like right now. You see, if her mother keeps herself up visually, there is a likelihood that she's taught her daughter to do the same. But if mom is ratchet, then, bro, you're in trouble. Unless ratchet is what you like. Now, I see zero ratchetness here, and I'm glad about it. For Steve, of course. It's no wonder that Steve Harvey put a ring on it. Truth be told, we know there aren't too many high-value men, per Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, that would date and then marry a single mom. But Marjorie proves that's not even in this situation. It's not even a problem. That even in a situation like this, attracting a high-value man was never a problem because her fashion and her style gave her an advantage. That's something that we can take from her, is that you can overcome any obstacle with fashion and with style. In the case of Lori Harvey, the apple does not fall far from the tree. It is extremely obvious that Lori has inherited that style and grace and fashion from her mother. Not only that, but she also inherited her mother's ability to use fashion to attract high-value men. As we can tell from some of these notable high-value men that she dated. Now, let me first make this disclaimer. I, for one, am not a high-value man, so don't y'all be in my DM talk about, hey, day. But I digress. Let's look at a few of Lori's ex-high-value men, shall we? Now, although many may argue that this one with me, Future, is a high-value man. Yes, I know he has about 10 baby mamas with 8 women, but his wealth and popularity gained him the high-value man title. And what we do know about Future is that he is quite the ladies' man, and he's also a pretty good rapper. A Future, I would say, is one that has used his fame and fortune as a way to only date the most beautiful women in the world. Fly guys, help me out on this. Isn't that why most of us work as hard as we do? We don't want to just be wealthy, but we want the trappings that go along with it. At least that's what I heard. Future, no doubt, has done well for himself in that area, because if we look at one of his baby mothers, we can really tell that, and we can all agree that without the fame and fortune, he would never have had a chance with her. Okay! So guys, listen up. I want you to write this down. I want you to save this video or do whatever you have to do to keep this in your mind. Future, fame, and fortune. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. And in the words of Bishop Charles E. Blake, I see you in your future, and you look much better than you do right now. That's right. Believe it, and you can achieve it. Now, as we all know, that baby mother that we referenced just a few moments ago was none other than this beauty, Sierra. Unfortunately for Future, this relationship did not last long. But of this relationship, of course, as Future has a reputation of foredoing, he left her with a baby before he left her. Now, many thought this relationship would last and were rooting for them, But there are times when things simply don't work out like we wish they would. And this is the time that is best to leave the relationship. So fellas, let this be a teachable moment for us in that we don't have to force a woman to stay with us. I mean, if she wants to leave, then let her. Many of the times, she may not be able to do any better than you. Unless, of course, she is Sierra or Lori. Yes, I must admit that Future be on his game, bruh. He nabs the beauties and was fortunate enough to date even Lori for a minute. I, for one, didn't think for 1 minute that this relationship will last simply due to Future's reputation. And wouldn't you know it, just as soon as it started, it was over. No more couple selfies or ussies for the two of them. But when I tell you some women have a great bounce back game, Lori is one of the best. My fly guys, have you ever dated a woman who had a very good bounce back game? Let me tell you, Lori did, and she did it with an iconic step, an iconic process. And by iconic, I mean no other than P. Diddy or Diddy, whatever you want to call him. He is iconic. And there was even a time when Lori was allegedly involved with him. There were a few photos that the photographers were able to produce, but they were able to catch them together on a boat and even at a dinner, being somewhat affectionate. But for me, it wasn't anything but an opportunity for Diddy to add to his rotation of beautiful women. And sometimes you would even catch them maybe even wearing matching outfits to insinuate they were together. But we all know that really fashionable couples, which they both are fashionable people, would simply do a better job at coordinating matching outfits than what we say here. So I believe that this was simply a ploy to play into the narrative that social media created. Then there was Michael B. Jordan, and I must admit that I was rooting for this one. He is a high-value man, of course, but he appears, and I never met the brother, but he appears to be a down-to-earth brother who, in my opinion, is one of the nice ones. Now, I know that the nice guy moniker is not one that many of us want to hear, but it does exist. And listen, if you're a nice guy, sometimes nice guys do finish first. Nevertheless, from the onset, this couple looked amazing together. She was the best armwear that you could imagine. I'm not much into armwear or wristwear besides the normal items like a watch or a bracelet. But if you're able to get someone on your arm like this, then you are doing quite well for yourself. And well was what Michael B. Jordan was doing. This young couple appeared to be doing all the right things, at least as far as we knew. But where did it go wrong? Is it possible that Lori wasn't ready to be tied down? Absolutely. And I would imagine that there aren't a lot of 25-year-old men or women in this generation that are ready to settle down. So why so much pressure for her to do so? I know some of you have believed the hype and said she is going to hit the wall in a few years. And you know what? That may be the case. But it is my belief that she has enough time to date and find the love of her life and be found by the love of her life before she does. And listen, judging by the way her 57-year-old mother looks, that wall is quite a ways off. But how did Lori not only date one high-value man, but numerous high-value men, as well as raise the bar each time that she did? Whether you know it or not, that is quite the feat. What do I mean by being quite the feat? Well, many times, as I mentioned before, once you date someone on the top of the mountain, so to speak, the rest after that relationship ends really are normally downhill. It normally goes downhill from that. And let's just take, for the sake of this argument, let's just look at Kim Kardashian, will you? Now, Kim Kardashian is notably one of the most high-profile women of our time. I think she boasts at least 100 million followers on IG and has the fame, fortune, and beauty to substantiate and legitimize the number of people following her. Nevertheless, we have seen Kim K go from Ray J. Come on, you know, we have to keep Ray J in her bio no matter how hard she tries to erase him. To Reggie Bush, then to Chris Humphries, then to none other than genius himself, billionaire ex-hubby, Kanye West. But since she reached the mountaintop, what have we observed in terms of her dating opportunities? She's fallen to the level of dating Pete the Creep Davidson. You can't fall much harder than that. Now, I know many of you are saying that is a bit harsh, and Pete actually may be a nice guy. I don't doubt that. But in comparison to Kanye, and in terms of being a high-value man, remember, I'm not one, but Pete, my friend, fails in comparison. There's no one in their rightful mind that would say Pete was a come-up from Ye. No one ever. What? I see no lies. But how does Lori do it? It is, in my opinion, her fashion that does it for her. Let's look into our box to see how she does it exactly. And I'm going to give you a bit of insight how you can take what Lori does and make it work for you no matter what type of man you desire to be within your life. No type of man or what type of woman you desire to be with in your life. So I want to offer you 3 things high-value men want in a woman. Again, that's 3 things high-value men want in a woman. The first thing that high-value men want in a woman is cooperation. Or are you cooperative? Nothing is more important to a man who is going somewhere than a woman who cooperates with him. If a woman is cooperative, it allows men to not have to walk on eggshells when he is around her. If a man can feel free around his woman, then guess what? He won't mind being around his woman. The reason why some of you are so insecure about what your man is doing is because he is spending more time with you, without you, than he is with you. Do you know how to change that? Start by being more cooperative. And Lori Harvey has mastered this. How do I know? There isn't one of her exes that ever said that she wasn't cooperative. And believe me, if she wasn't, then that would be the first thing they would say. The second thing I want to offer you in terms of what a high-value man wants in a woman is confidence. Nothing attracts a man more who has substance than a woman who has confidence. Did you get that? It is your confidence in your fashion and style that attracts high-value men. It is your confidence in you knowing who you are and that you have value that attracts high-value men. The final thing high-value men want in a woman is class. That's right. Someone who is classy will always catch the eye of a high-value man. Now, this is where I'm going to lose some of you. And I hope that you'll understand and hear me out. And I'm going to lose some of you, and that is because you look at an outfit and you think the outfit denotes whether it is classy. Now, I beg to differ on that. I think how you wear the outfit determines if it is classy or not. The way Lori wears this outfit speaks classy to me, and most high-value men will agree with me. But you, because she's showing some cleavage, think this outfit is trashy. That, my friend, may be the reason why you don't have a high-value man, because you believe the clothes make you instead of you making the clothes. Well, listen, that's all I have for tonight. Thanks for watching, and remember to hit the like and share buttons if you enjoyed this content. Remember, this is He Spoke Fashion, and I want you to have a good night, good fashion, and remember, he spoke fashion to you. See you next time.